Hey guys, Mike McFarland here, the Lake Fork Guide, sitting in McFarland's Corner. I'm going to give you, I think, basically the first public report. Um, let's call it the first official public report for the season 2022 right here on Lake Fork. Let's talk about the lake itself. Um, so things are pretty cold right now. It's what I call the bottom, but we're in the bottom temperatures. We can get a lot colder. But generally the 49 to 51 degrees, that's the cold and warm water that I'm finding throughout the lake. The clarity, 1 to 2 foot, depends on where you are. I think the more south you are, the deeper places you are, there's a little more clarity. We haven't had any floods or heavy conditions or heavy winds or anything really stirred up, but the lake is low, so because of that, there is some areas that are dirty and some that aren't. Especially wind-blown areas can really get churned with the raw shoreline. Lake levels, as you can see, we are falling. I mean, a little bit of rain midweek last week that really didn't change much, 1/4 of an inch, which really is a lot. The fact that there was any change in the lake at all, it makes me very optimistic. I thought the ground was really dry, and I know a lot of ponds are dry. I thought it was going to take a lot of water to change fork. But right now we're at 39665. Which realistically is almost 6.5 feet low now. It's getting there. It's getting real low and it's very dangerous. So that's the board. Remember that this is now a public report, so a little more general. If you want super details, you need to privately subscribe. Please, I invite you to privately subscribe to the private part. But right now you can catch some fish, mostly plastics, fishing real slow amongst the wood. There are some reaction baits in warm trend areas, some rattle traps, square bills, things like that you can catch some fish as well. And of course deep fish that are unaffected from the cold. But just remember, if you're coming to Fork right now, be super careful, man. Just run real easy. Don't run high. That way if something does happen, you're not high speed. Less impact leads to less injury and things like that. So that's it, man. Look forward to doing this all year long. Gonna still keep you in nice public report. Sometimes it may have a little more meat and potatoes, but for the meat and potatoes, remember, subscribe to the McFarland's Private Corner. Okay, Private Corner. So a couple things I will give you. If you remember last year, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, Mark Daniels Jr. absolutely roasted those fish, those early pre-spawn fish, on the colored berthollier. Okay, remember that. That was really popular. Well, really cool to announce to you that Lake Fork Tackle Lures now has that color in their whole line of baits. So it doesn't matter what you want in bait-wise, whether it be a ring fry, whether it be one of their creature baits, hopper stick or whatever, you can get it in the berthollier. So just keep that in mind, guys. Really cool report there. And then just so you know, in the public report, I don't want you to think I'm holding back. I'm still sharing some really cool information. Remember Mark Pack. Never forget Mark Pack. But we know how cool color, Ice Baby. This is white ice. And remember, one of my favorite things that I like to do to any of these plastic baits is I soak them in the real-time rod's magic reaction. Now this is pretty tough. That's part of the public report. I'm doing that on purpose because both of these guys are gone in my life. I mean, all of our lives. And they both were just amazing men. So 2 things. Let's keep this legend going on. Please remember these men. And if you don't know that, Louis Vaughn was the owner of Real-Time Rods. One of the first and only men to ever let me really do my own thing and call it my own rod. And I miss him. And Mark Pack, we miss him. We miss all you guys. But check this out. So here's what I do. I take these baits. I give me a small Ziploc bag. All right. I throw these baits in there like that. It doesn't matter if they aren't perfect, because I'm going to want to juice them up. I'm going to take the Real-Time Rods Magic Reaction. Okay, you can go to their Facebook page and order this. I'm going to squeeze a generous amount on these. I want to get them wet. I want to see them wet. So usually it's about 1/8 of a bottle per bag of worms or plastic. But I want to feel them get moist and slippery. The best part is, I can smell it already. Gosh, it smells so good. It is not one of those scents that stinks that you go, oh gosh, that's awful. It's amazing, truly an amazing, pretty much an oil-free product. It doesn't stain anything. This overnight will magically go in to those baits. I'm gonna put just a little bit more on here. So again, about 1/8 of a bottle per bag of plastic. Depending on how big the plastic is. When I say a bag of plastics, I mean 15 worms in a bag. So I got about 30 worms right here, 30 baits right here. And I put a good 1/8 of a bottle, at least, probably a little more, and it seems to be working. You'll feel them when they're coated. Okay, they're ready. Now you're gonna take the flour salt, and you don't need much. This makes the reaction happen. That's why it's called magic reaction. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this flour salt in there. It's probably more than enough. Darn it, I didn't need to do that much. This is where I don't care what happens to them, the shape they are in the bag, and I'm gonna just shake and bake it. I'm literally gonna shake and bake it. All right, I want that salt and everything kind of equally get coated, because this is where the magic again happens. And tomorrow, and you'll see too what's cool. If you shake them right, they'll fall right back in place. They're all nice now. But tomorrow, they will be dry because the plastic itself will pull all that in, all that goodness into the plastic, absorbs in there. It's absolutely amazing. It's appropriately named Magic Reaction. And it's the first and only scent that I've ever found in my life. It doesn't leave a mess. It doesn't get oily on your fingers. And doesn't stink or rot. In 6 months, this stuff's still ready to go. So, appreciate you watching. That's a little more meat and potatoes in public. I wanted to know I still love y'all for watching that. And don't forget to subscribe to the private. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide, giving you a little rundown.